Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you're all well. It's Saturday, it's the weekend, and look, some of you lucky buggers, you get a day off, but some of us, we don't. We have to continue grafting. We have to continue the work to bring information and services to the people, the masses, because they deserve it. Anyway, you're looking amazing. I hope you have an amazing weekend. Now, I am planning on going live tomorrow, so I hope to catch some of you there. But in this video, we're just going to be touching on the Idaho 4 case very, very quickly as we look at the two latest documents. Some of you will have seen them already, some of you won't. One of the documents came out a couple of days ago or so, and it's quite interesting. I know Jules did a video, she spoke about it, and we can kind of ponder over it together. We don't really know what it's all about, and the likelihood is it ain't about a lot. But the second one does put it's something to a close. Well, I say to a close, it perhaps that's the wrong way to put it. Perhaps it actually does completely the opposite and kind of starts a certain ball rolling. But look, before we look at the docs, let's just touch on something, because we're heading towards Christmas. It's going to be Christmas in, 3 and a bit weeks, and this case has been going for over a year now, and this is the second Christmas where these victims have sadly not been with us. They've not been with their families. Their families have had to endure what should be a very, very happy time when they come together and, they have good times, and that's not going to happen. And it's not going to happen for a second time since this crime happened. And not only do they not have their loved ones with them, but they still do not have any closure. This case is still ongoing, and we know that some of the families are handling it better, or maybe better is not the right word, maybe to say they're handling it different. Some of them we're getting to see, and we're getting to sort of see how they're handling that journey and what they're doing with regards to their healing process, if you like, if they can be healing at this stage. And some we don't see so much. We don't really hear anything. Some of the parents are interacting with people who have channels, and they are having open discussions about how they feel about certain things. But look, let's just take a moment just to remember that no matter what we do in this case, we may speak about people, we may talk about things that are unpalatable. We may point the finger at people and say, do you know what, you should have been different, you should have done something different, you should have done something, anything. And, some people don't like that. And we do it because at the heart of this crime, 4 young adults lost their lives. And regardless of how anybody feels about this situation in general, we have someone who's been accused. And as much as some people can feel that this person has done this crime, there will be some that are on the fence with it, and they don't know. There'll be some that are flat out refuse to believe he did. And do you know what? These people exist. Like the people like myself who are on the fence exist. The people who believe that Bryan Kohberger is completely innocent exist for one reason, and that is because there is a complete lack of transparency in this case. And surely it could be argued that in a case of this gravity, even in cases of less gravity, when we're just dealing about people who have been hurt and where there is a potential to learn from it, isn't it the right of people to see that process unfold, see how it unfolds? And all we get told is we can't see this, we can't see that because it puts somebody at risk or it puts a system at risk. And I can't buy that. I don't buy into that. The entire system should be open, should be transparent, because that would act as a deterrent for would-be people who would do crimes like this. If they know that they are going to be made a spectacle of, they know, and look, I know what some people are going to say, some people want to be made a spectacle of, and they'll actually love that. But ultimately, I don't think anybody sets out to get caught. Anybody who doesn't go into somewhere brandishing a weapon and just unleashes carnage and gets caught on the spot, they're the people who want to get caught. They're the people who want the spotlight, the limelight. The crimes like this, I don't think the person goes into this crime to get caught, to get seen. They do it because they're sick. They do it because they're evil. And this sort of case deserves transparency. The public deserves transparency. The families, they deserve transparency. And because of that lack, we are now in this situation where people exist who doubt the system, who doubt that the person who has been accused has indeed done it. And it just further feeds the fuel and enlarges these flames that are the doubt and the hurt and the anger and the upset, as we could potentially venture into a third Christmas without a conclusion. But anyway, I digress. It's just something to ponder on. Things can't exist if things are stamped out. And people who speculate, people hate people like me. People hate people who speculate over cases like this. But we only exist because the system is broken. It's a broken system. Now, I know some people say it's not so much that it's broken, it's just that it's almost like it's just rotten to the core. It's just the way that the system is. It's not a broken system. It is the system in terms of who runs it. This is how they want to run it. So it ain't. It's just the way that the system is gauged to be. So we have a look at these docs. So this is the biggie. This is the notice of in-camera submission. So this is for the IGG. We know that there was a deadline set by Judge. He said the 1st of December, and here we go. So in the District Court of the 2nd Judicial District of the State of Idaho, in and for the County of Latah, notice of in-camera submission. Comes now the State of Idaho by and through the Latah County Prosecuting Attorney, and hereby gives notice that pursuant to this court's order 25th of October 2023, order addressing IGG DNA, and order for in-camera review, the state has submitted the IGG information in its possession, custody or control to the court for in-camera review. Now, what I will note by this, it doesn't say that it's handed it over in its entirety, or we have everything, we have all of this IGG. They literally state that they've submitted the IGG information in its possession, custody or control. So what they're basically saying, they've handed over what they had. Now, there could be an issue with this because there could be some information missing. We know that there's been 10 requests by Ann Taylor and the defence team, and previously for information, and this is likely, I can see this being incomplete. I hope it's not. I hope this does, as I said at the beginning of the video, I hope this is the start of moving towards some degree of resolution, and perhaps some of the questions that people have will finally be answered. But I guess over the next few weeks, perhaps. I don't know how the court system works over the Christmas period, whether they go into some form of shutdown. If they do, we know we're heading towards that. So whether a lot will happen this side of Christmas, who knows? I don't think a lot will happen between now and Christmas. But the other documentation was this one. This was a motion to temporarily seal stipulation in order to transfer evidence for forensic evaluation pending hearing. So what this seems to be suggesting is that there is perhaps some more evidence that they've all of a sudden come up against or come across. Seems handy, seems as we've just had the FBI sniffing back around 1122 King Road, and all of a sudden we've got this. So I know there's going to be some people who believe that there's a potential there is evidence that has been found. We've got the standard why it has been obviously put under the gag order. It could interfere with enforcement proceedings, deprive a person to the right of a fair trial or an impartial adjudication, constitute an unwarranted invasion of personal privacy, disclose the identity of a confidential source, and or disclose investigative techniques and procedures. Again, this kind of thing, we have argued whether these specific things are just commonplace in all of these documents, but we have seen certain things omitted, like the danger to life. In this one, there doesn't seem to state that it's putting anybody at risk, as in their personal being. This is more towards, we're looking back at confidential sources and the way in which law enforcement sort of operates, and that does seem to be, what do they call it, boilerplate, when it is just what the prosecution put in all of their docs. So we don't know what it is. All we know is that there is some evidence, maybe, just maybe, because we're sort of skating around this IGG situation. Let me just come out of here. Maybe they've decided that perhaps those previously unknown DNA samples, perhaps they're going to do something with them all of a sudden. Perhaps they've sort of, again, this is going down the route of speculation, I do apologise, but perhaps they're looking at the time frame, they're looking at things, and they're thinking, do you know what, could someone else be involved? And with unknown DNA floating around, is that something that could crop up and cause damage later on, unless they've got some real slam dunk evidence against Brian Kohberger? Because I would say that, and look, I would say that if they haven't got anything other than what we've seen, and all that has been put out, that is pretty much the most damning of it, then they do need more. And things like this other 3 male DNA samples, this is something that they do need to deal with. Now, they could have evidence that does not fail the litmus test, if you like, when it comes to reasonable doubt, and they don't need it. Maybe that's why it hasn't been processed. Maybe they feel that they've got enough information to just go ahead and get this sent down the river. But time will tell. Time will tell. But they are the newest docs, so it's all about IGG. That is the investigative genetic genealogy information. Hopefully, what the defence wants or needs have now been given or will be given, and Judge will do what is right and hand over what the entitlements are, and it will clarify some things, and this can start moving in the right direction and get these victims some justice and get these families some peace and closure. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I might see you before, depends on if anything happens in the meantime. If not, then I'll catch you all tomorrow night in the live. Till then, have fun.